All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there. August 8th. We got a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest, if you do want to fade me, it's absolutely free right down there in the pinned comment. In terms of yesterday, it was a short slate. We ended up having 4 plays, all half unit plays, and we go 2 and 2. The Athletics, really good look. That one, Cash never really looked back. The White Sox and Mariners first 3 under, also a really good look and kind of a risky one, right? But then that Reds Pirates first 3 under 2.5. Yeah, bottom of the first 3 runs came in via the Pirates. No more for the first 3, so we did lose on the hook. And then Jared Triolo, man, oh man. Let's cue the black and white screen, because I think every time lately that we felt confident about a hits, runs, and RBI, the guy has a very good day. So maybe we're the bad luck charm, we're the jinx lately. We'll have to double check, and overthink those hits, runs, and RBIs unders, because those were one of our best plays, day in and day out early in the season. But you got to adapt, you got to change. So we'll be obviously kind of, I guess dissecting those moving forward. That being said, I shouldn't harp on it too much. We still are profitable in that market. But in terms of the ride of the day, moot point. Relly tosses out Pirates Cincinnati over 7. Looked good. Final score 7-0, so it was a push. We rarely get pushes for the ride of the day, but the tracker is updated with the push here. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Just use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day and give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you do win, we continue to ride with your plays for the coming days until you lose. If you do lose, you still get the shout out, but unfortunately we're dropping a womp womp on the soundboard and we got to talk about it, right? No one wants to get shouted out for a loss, so enter at your own risk. One thing I do want to talk about, guys, I was just doing the numbers yesterday, so in this column, you can see it here. The ride of the day so far since we've been tracking, 4.36 units up. Come on now, the ride of the day has been crushing, thanks to some of the people at the top of the leaderboard for sure, but man, oh man, as a community, we've been crushing it this year, so yeah, keep getting those hashtag ride of the days down in the comments. But what do you say we go ahead and dive into game number 1? Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You guys have been crushing it lately, really do appreciate it. Absolutely smack that like button today, please. Thank you guys so much. Let's dive into it. We just talked about this game. It's Pittsburgh taking on Cincinnati. Mitch Keller on the bump for Pittsburgh. I hate to say it, but he might be moving in the wrong direction here. Now, I do like him a lot more at home than on the road. He's had a couple road starts in a row here. He's also a lot better against righties, and there's a lot of righties in the Cincinnati lineup. So I think Mitch Keller could be okay today. He's going up against Chase Burns, who, again, is kind of like a mixed bag. We know he has all the talent in the world, but sometimes he's been a little wild. Sometimes he's had some bad games, but then he's been electric in some spots as well. So this game to me really is somewhat of a roll of the dice. In terms of where we'd go, I'd look at the Reds just because I do think that they have the better offense. As crazy as that is to say after them scoring 0 runs yesterday, I still think that they have a better offense in general. It should be nice weather there in Pittsburgh, so give me the Reds because you're getting what I would consider the higher upside of the pitcher as well. You're only getting that like minus 104 right now, so realistically, yes, like I said, roll the dice, but it's still gonna be Reds for me. I don't mind the idea of a first 5 or full game under. If you can get the 8.5, I don't necessarily mind that. I think one of these offenses is kind of dormant today, and one of these pitchers has a really good game. So realistically, for that over to hit, whether it's the first 5 or the full game, I think you're only going to get one offense to kind of really contribute towards it. Yesterday, it was the Pirates, right? 7-0. I could see this being a Cincinnati 5-2 win type of thing today. So I'm going to lean first 5 and full game under, really kind of putting my faith into Mitch Keller, who I said could pitch okay today, and then Chase Burns. This should be a lineup that he doesn't struggle with. You know what I mean? Like some of the lineups that we've seen him struggle with have been a little, like even when Washington got to him, right? They were a little bit hotter at the time, but in terms of him going up against a lineup that isn't all that great, I have a little bit more faith. So yeah, kind of like the starters in this one, but also just the full game under in general. We called that Cincinnati and Pittsburgh one a roll of the dice. I think you're kind of in the same boat here with Baltimore taking on the Athletics. So the Athletics coming off of a dub for us yesterday, right? A 6-0 win. Jacob Lopez, I'm actually really starting to like. I think early on this season, I was like, who is this guy? I don't really like him. He's kind of a stud. Now, he did pitch against Washington, so I don't want to get too all over him, you know what I mean? Pause. But yeah, I think I'm starting to like him from the left side. Today, we have JT Ginn on the mound, who he also has had his struggles. He's looked okay at times as well. I don't expect him to be all that phenomenal today. He's going to throw the sinker, and even if we use our dashboard, which I'll explain how to get access to later on in the video, you can see here, the sinker, he's going to throw 55.6% of the time. Baltimore's actually really hitting the sinker well right now. So yeah, and it's mostly the bottom of their order, so take that with what you will. But either way, I do think Baltimore can maybe put up somewhat of a fight here, and them at home, they had the day off. It's probably the direction I lean in. So I'm going to lean towards Baltimore, but Tomoyuki Sugano's on the other side of things, and I don't necessarily want to sit here and act like he's going to go out there and shut down an Athletics offense that seems to be cruising at a decent altitude right now, right? You throw out the fact that they scored, what was it, 1 or 0? Yeah, 1 run in game 2 of that Washington series. This team, you know, odds are, have been giving you 4, 5, 6 runs. I mean, they scored 16 in game 1 against Washington. So I do think that he might have some struggles with them. So I'm going to lean towards the over. It is way up there, actually, power of editing here, because this is supposed to say 9.5, which, boom, there we go. The total is at 9.5. I still don't mind that. I could see a 5-5 game. Someone has to score I just that already hit the over. 5-4 game with 1 more run to come in, that type of a thing. But again, kind of a roll of the dice spot. Where I don't necessarily mind taking a peek here would be at Nick Kurtz. Over, whether you like his bases or hits, runs, and RBIs. I like his pitch mix today in terms of him batting. The problem is you're getting plus money now for over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. So the books, they sniffed out that he's in a decent, opportunistic spot as well. All right, Yankees taking on Houston. I think this should be a pretty good game. We have Cam Schlittler on the mound for the Yanks going up against Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown, obviously, I would say the starting pitching advantage here. He was going through a little bit of a rough patch, but then he bounced back, right? Even though they lost that game against the Red Sox, 7 innings pitched, just 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts on 4 hits for him. So he looked pretty damn good, right? Even, again, though they lost that game 2-1. Schlitter on the other side, or Schlittler, whatever the hell the guy's name is. This one's a tough one to pronounce. Feels like you're saying like a slur the minute you say his last name. He has not exactly looked phenomenal, but I will encourage you guys to watch him. Now, when I say not look phenomenal, he's going 4 or 5 innings of 2-3 earned run baseball. A lot of pitchers and a lot of teams would take that, so let's not get carried away. But I've now watched the kid twice, and sometimes the eye test, especially in baseball from a pitcher perspective, can tell you a lot. And he does have a lot of talent with the velocity. The issue is sometimes the control comes into question. This Houston team does not walk all that much, and I don't even know if this offense is all that trustworthy as of right now. Like, just because they had a really good series against Miami, I kind of still want to make sure that they're batting well. So I do think that I lean Astros. I think that, Hunter Brown on the mound at these odds, at near a pick 'em, almost near, even odds, is worth it, right? I think that they have a better bullpen and maybe not the better offense. I get that the Yankees have Judge back and stuff, but still, I think that the Houston Astros have a lot of advantages here. But take a peek at that. I'm leaning towards the first 3 and first 5 under, even with Schlittler on the mound. Like, I think that he can pitch pretty well. Again, this Houston team does not draw a lot of walks. Just 5th worst in the last 30 days against righties. That's good because Schlitter is not very good at not walking guys, but this team doesn't do it. And then throw in the fact that he's going to go fastball slider. You could even see using our dashboard here, fastball and slider, not exactly the 2 best pitches for Houston. So yeah, I think that he could pitch pretty well, and I think we can count on Hunter Brown. That's a big thing here. Haven't really even discussed that, but in 43 plate appearances against this current Yankees roster, he's got a 25% walk K rate. The walk rate is high at 16.3. I get it, but an expected batting average against of 188. So hopefully both these pitchers can kind of do their thing and leads us to an under. But I don't mind the idea of the Astros on the back of their ace, at minus 104 odds. Like, that seems almost like too good to be true. So maybe it's a little trappy. All right, guys, before we do move on with the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about NoVig. If you haven't checked them out yet, I really do mean it. You need to do so. There's a link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. What NoVig is it operates just like your normal book, right? Except it's a peer-to-peer exchange. So Joe Schmoes like me and you are setting lines and taking lines, and you're beating those big book lines and prices like 9 times out of 10. Just like I said with the Astros, you can get them at -4 right now, minus 104 right now. They're like minus 115 on most books. So go ahead and check it out. That's obviously the odds at the time of recording, subject to change, but go check it out, guys. Link down in the description as well as the pinned comment. Very, very liquid markets over there too. If you like to put a lot on games, great, you're in business. If you don't, still operates just the same. Go check it out, guys. Link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. I'm always encouraging you guys. I can't talk today. Encouraging you guys to have more books, right? Some people are against that, but that truly is the smarter thing to do. I'd rather have $10 in 10 books than 101. So go check out Novig, add it to your sportsbook arsenal. Link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. Let's jump back into these games now. All right, Tigers taking on the Angels. You guys know that we're usually trying to give you like all things, right? Money line, total, even some player props in the games. But when you have a team with Tarek Skubal on the mound, minus 320, there's not much you can do, right? And it's self-explanatory. Like, I don't even think it's worth digging in and trying to find value on the Angels side of things. So I think the only thing I'd look at is potentially an Angels team total under 0.5 in the first 3 innings. Can Skubal give us 3 innings of shutout baseball? You're even paying minus 130 for that right now. So I don't even know if that juice is worth the squeeze. But nonetheless, that's probably the only thing I have in this game. It's Skubal against Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks struggles on the road. He's also been really, really strugglesome against righty bats this year. But then even lefty bats lately, which obviously you're going to get a mix of both. One little sprinkle, and we never ever do, home run plays. I could see Kerry Carpenter having a huge game today, so maybe a Kerry Carpenter home run, maybe Kerry Carpenter over hits, runs in, RBIs, something like that. In fact, I'll add that real quick to the list here. We'll go Carpenter overs. I'll just put that up because, again, I don't know. I'm not much of a home run bettor, but he's also been absolutely crushing it lately. And using our dashboard, guys, he's got a 10 out of 10 pitch mix rating, which you don't usually see very often. You could see it right here. So, yeah, that's what I'd look at in this one, but it is kind of tough because those odds are absolutely crazy. Guys, access to the dashboard that we keep popping up is super, super simple and cheap. GuyBostonSports.com, and I'll show you exactly how to do this in a second, but kind of wanted to talk about it for just a couple seconds first. GuyBostonSports.com, head over to the members area. The reason we built this dashboard originally was just for me, from a selfish standpoint of, hey, I want to get all the information and build something that gives me that information in the quickest and most efficient path so that I can do these videos and have the information I need, right? And then at one point, last year I was like, why not share this with the people, right? Why are we gatekeeping it? So we brought it to you guys right here over on GuyBostonSports.com. You head over to the members area, MLB dashboard. You have each and every game, each and every day with all of what I would consider the necessary information. I think this could be a one-stop shop. Obviously, I would kind of encourage you to just use it as a tool in your arsenal. It's not going to just spit out plays for you, right? Some days you'll see, oh my God, what a pitching advantage, kind of leads you down the right path. But again, it's never going to be like, hey, here's an AI play this. This is a research tool and a damn good one. Head over there, guys. Again, you can sign up right here in the members area. If you use code DASH, you're going to get your first month $2.99. After that, it's just going to be $6.99 per month. If we ever up the price in the future, you're locked in at whatever price you got in at as long as your subscription stays active. So go check it out. 2 months for less than $10, guys. Check out the MLB dashboard. Again, I trust this thing. I built it for myself, not just to monetize it to you guys, but it's a damn good tool. Go ahead and check it out. Let's jump back into these games. All right, Braves taking on the Marlins. This is the one game that we didn't touch yesterday. I guess we kind of called it all right? We liked the Braves at home, but we also liked the low-scoring game, so kind of hit or miss there in that one. Today, I do think that we have something similar in terms of what I saw happening yesterday, which was a low-scoring game. Like, I would peg this one right around a 4-3, 5-3 type of a spot. So yeah, I don't mind the idea of an under, but I do kind of pivot to the Marlins. I think that there is a drastic pitching advantage here for Edward Cabrera, on the mound here over Bryce Elder. Bryce Elder, even at home this year, has not looked very good. And last time he pitched against his Miami team in Miami, so not even at home, I guess that's worth noting, 10 hits, 5 earned through 5 1/3. Just 4 strikeouts as well. Now, Edward Cabrera, on the other hand, hasn't seen this Braves team in a long time, but his last 3 starts, 5 2/3, 1 earned against San Diego, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned against St. Louis, and then against the Yankees, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned. Were all of those offenses kicking at the time? Maybe not, but I still do think that there's a good and massive pitching advantage. Also, a decent amount of righties in this lineup, right? He's very good against righties. I do worry a little bit about Cabrera on the road compared to at home, but still, it is what it is. I like the idea of an under, but I do think that Miami kind of pulls this one out. Also, taking a peek at Nick Allen under 1.5, or if you can get it for plus money at under 0.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I really do think that he has a terrible pitch mix here. The bullpen worries me a little bit, especially with just a 0.5 line, but I think that, he's going to really struggle against Cabrera and his pitch mix. Throw in the fact that he's batting just 174 against righties over the last 30 days and has a 436 OPS. Against righties, not all that tremendous, right? So, yeah, Marlins could be a play today. I do think, and again, I took the under. I think I trust Bryce Elder just enough to maybe deliver like 5 innings, 2 earned, which I think would be on the right path there. White Sox taking on the Guards. Aaron Savale on the mound going up against Tanner Bybee. Don't look now, but Aaron Savale has not allowed an earned run in 3 straight starts. 6 inning pitches pitched against Pittsburgh, 0 earned. 5 innings against the Cubs, 0 earned. 6 1/3 against the Angels, 0 earned. He struck out 6, 6, and 8. I'm not trying to say that Aaron Savale is all that great. I used to like him, not so much anymore, but I will say he's been looking pretty good. Now, Tanner Bybee's on the other side of things, who's been kind of consistently struggling in a sense. You throw in the fact that the team is 5-0 when he's on the bump. Fine, maybe that gives him a little bit of a boost. But you know what? I'll sound the psycho alert alarm here. I'm not afraid of leaning towards Savale having a decent game again. I don't think either one of these offenses are going to absolutely go off today if Savale pitches well. So I like the under 8.5 if you can get it there still. One little piece, and you guys know I like to give you both sides if there is 2 sides to the story. Savale, yes, he's been pitching really, really well. I said the last 3 starts. If you look at his 4th most recent start, guess who that was against? This Cleveland squad, 5 2/3, 4 earned. I think he let up a couple home runs as well. It was like 4 earned on just 3 or 4 hits. So he still pitched okay, but they did score off him. So maybe that takes away from me hooting and hollering about Aaron Savale. But yeah, the under 8.5, and I sounded the psycho alert alarm. I lean towards the White Sox in this spot. Even if Tanner Bybee's pitches are rolling, which is going to be fastball, cutter as 2 of his main pitches, those should be pretty good pitches for this White Sox teams to hit, which you don't necessarily say too often, but this White Sox team, their offense hasn't been terrible. 6-3 against a fastball and cutter, right? Now, we take a peek at Savale. He throws the cutter. Look at this. All of those pitches, these 4 pitches right here that make up literally like 75%, all of these 4 pitches, the Cleveland team's not necessarily crushing those. So, again, it might be crazy, but I do think for the plus 140, it's White Sox for me today. Do I get it down myself? No, I don't mean to act like I'm super confident in them, but it sure as hell puts me and points me off of the Guardians at a huge price like that. That's for sure. Now, the White Sox bullpen cooked too, right? So yeah, there's obviously some things to consider here. Maybe a first 500, maybe White Sox first 5, getting the plus half a run or something like that. But it's White Sox some way, shape, or form if we touch this game from a side perspective. All right, we should have a good pitchers duel here. Texas taking on the Phillies. Merrill Kelly on the bump here. His first start with Texas looked pretty good, right? 5 2/3, so he pitched almost 6 innings, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts, no walks, just 4 hits. He's going up against Chris Sanchez, who has been absolutely dominant. Like, I'm a big Zach Wheeler guy, so do not take this the wrong way. Sanchez is potentially the best pitcher on this Phillies squad, right? He would definitely have been an all-star if he'd been doing this, which he kind of was doing this pre-all-star break. But nonetheless, he's coming off of a 8 innings outing, 0 earned, 6 strikeouts, just 5 hits, and then Yohan Duran comes in and just absolutely closes the door, right? So I do still think that this is a Phillies spot, but man, oh man, I'm not looking at a bunch of runs from them. Phillies, when they have nice weather and all that, they score. This is obviously not a ballpark that's affected by weather, and it's kind of, I would say, leans towards a pitcher-friendly ballpark, too. So I do think that we could see some Merrill Kelly success. Texas bullpen, I don't necessarily mind, so I like the under, but I kind of lean towards that first 5 under a little bit more. But the Phillies still, I do believe, are, in the better spot here. I like Schwarber and Harper in terms of them up against a righty today and the pitch mix that they're going to see. So, sure, yes, still lean Phillies. I just don't think they're going to absolutely go off, so I don't mind the under. Now, we go to Semien here. Marcus Semien, under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Last 10 games, he's actually been doing pretty damn well. And I know Ev's thrown out an under 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. Everyone's probably running the opposite way. But I do like this spot here. The sinker he's hit okay on the season, which is Chris Sanchez's best pitch. That being said, Semien literally hits, and via our friends over at Outlier, I have a link for this down in the description as well if you like to look at the tool. The sinker he hits when it's outside and away, it's quite literally the opposite of where Sanchez puts the sinker. You look at the changeup, okay, well, his WOBA's just 194. The slider, just 248, so nothing all that special. You look at him from a pitch mix rating, we have at 2.9. The changeup's not all that great. The sinker's not all that great, right? The slider, not all that great. So I don't necessarily sit here and think that Semien's in a very good position. And this Phillies bullpen, if Semien, sees Sanchez 3 times, he's going to get a decent arm at the end of the game that I kind of trust against him as well. So, yeah, I like Simeon. That's probably got a chance of being a final play. All 3 of these plays are of the likings of what I might roll with today. We're not trying to go too crazy. A lot of the times when you have a small slate the day before, you get gung-ho the next day because you're like, hell yeah, a bunch of games. Trying to be smart today, but all 3 of those definitely have a chance of being a final play. So we'll keep digging and make sure to keep an eye on the final plays to see what we ultimately roll with there. All right, Twins hosting the Royals here. We got Joe Ryan on the bump going up against Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo has started to be pretty consistent, right? He wasn't exactly, and he still isn't, having the best of years with an ERA at 3.08. That's pretty good, a whip of 1.15. But he's kind of flying under the radar, right? Because he definitely has had some rough starts, I guess we could say. Joe Ryan, we should know what we're getting out of him. One thing I will say, though, is the odds are pretty much making my decision here. Do I think Joe Ryan's the better pitcher? Yes. Do I like the Twins at home? Yes. Do I like laying minus 130 with the Twins here? No. I think this is a pretty much coin flippy type of a game. So for plus 120 or beyond, it's going to be Royals for me. One thing that I will say is I think both of these offenses are trending in what I'd consider the right direction. And you do have a really hot day here in Minnesota. I think winds blowing out to left field, maybe to the left field line, which still might help some of these righty bats, right? Which is good because Seth Lugo's good against the righty bats, and then Joe Ryan just good against everybody. Maybe a couple more runs come in than normal. So I like the idea of an over 8.5. Kansas City put up 5, 2, and 7. We'd take 2 of those 3 in this spot, right? 5 and 7 runs scored. That was in their last series against Red Sox. Minnesota scored 3, 6, and 9. Damn, she fine. So, I mean, I do like the idea of both teams kind of having some runs being scored. Minnesota's bullpen, not all that big of a fan of. Kansas City, I'm almost losing some faith in them. So, sure, even the bullpens, we could see some runs come through here. Via our dashboard, one cool thing to note, too, is you worry about this Royals offense? I don't. They're starting to look a little bit better, right? Throw in the fact that Joe Ryan's going to throw a ton of fastballs. His team's actually hitting the fastball really well right now. The only one on the lineup that really isn't is Yaz at minus 2.6 runs above average their last 30 days. Everyone else has a good little number. So, yeah, I mean, Lugo's got a million pitches he throws, so it's tough to pick out any specific pitches. But this Minnesota team hitting the cutter, splitter, and slider all that well, those are all within his pitch mix. So, yeah, maybe over 8.5 is a spot here. Kind of want to watch it. I could see people thinking pitchers are going to pitch really well today and buying this down to 8. I feel like we had a couple spots today where Psycho Alarm is worthy. We have 2 good pitchers on the mound, 2 questionable offenses, and I'm over here confidently saying the over. Yikes. Brewers taking on the Mets. I know it's not just me, but why do I feel like the Brewers continue to get disrespected with the price tags here? I mean, them at minus 120, minus 119 seems kind of asinine against this Mets team. They've lost 4 straight games. The Mets have lost 8 of their last 10, and the Brewers on a 9-1 run. And honestly, if you date it back, even better, right? This is arguably the best team in the league right now. And I say arguably because I still do think they're hot, and they've been hot for so long. But like, there are teams that are better. But is that even fair to say? Maybe not right now. So today we have Woodruff on the mound, who's been very, very good, going up against Kodai Senga, who really hasn't been all that great. He's given you like 3 to 5 innings of 3 to 4 run baseball right now. I don't necessarily sit here and think that he's going to absolutely shut down this Brewers squad. And Woodruff on the other side of things, honestly, his numbers aren't that terrible against the current guys on the Mets squad. He's going to throw a ton of sinkers. Okay, well, middle of the pack for the Mets to hit that. A ton of fastballs, 12th in the league. The changeup, bottom 10 in the league. Whereas the Brewers kind of clock out on any pitch that Senga's going to throw, whether it's a slider, fastball, or cutter. So for me, yeah, I guess I'm burying the lead here. You guys know where I'm looking at. The Brewers, I don't think that there's going to be a massively high-scoring game, though. I will say that. I think this could be an under-type game still. But Brewers, I would prefer on the money line over, taking a peek at them, whether it's the under or the first full game or first 5. But I also do like Bryce Terang. I know it doesn't really correlate with an under, but I like his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I like him against a righty. He's been hitting righties really well lately, and he's going to get the fastball and cutter combo. 627 in terms of a WOBA against the cutter. That's pretty good, guys. And a 348 WOBA against the fastball on the season. When we want to look at it from a runs above average perspective, he's got a 15.3 runs above average rating there against the cutter. The fastball kind of flat. Even if he does see something like the slider and whatnot, I don't think it's going to kill him all that much. So Bryce Terang, definitely a look here. Brewers and Bryce Terang, and then the under is probably how I would rank these in terms of prioritization. Why did I make that word harder to say than it actually is? Comment prioritization if you guys made it this far into the video. Hopefully you guys can spell it better than I can speak it. St. Louis taking on the Cubs. Matthew Boyd on the bump for the Cubs. He's been obviously very, very good. He has one bad start, and it was against Milwaukee in his last few starts. And one of those starts was against St. Louis, an 11-0 win for the Cubs. He went 5 innings, 0 earned, 9 strikeouts, 1 walk on just 5 hits. Actually, I think it was 3 or 4 hits. Now, Michael McGreevy in that same, I don't know if it was the same matchup, but he did pitch against the Cubs in that series, if I'm not mistaken. Or it might have been a later date, right? Got hit up by them. That's the point here. I forget exactly when it was. 4 2/3, 5 earned, 7 hits, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, and a home run let up. Don't necessarily love that because that was at home as well, and he realistically has some good spots, but still on the season he's got a north of 5 ERA, a WHIP on the road, or WHIP at home of 1.4, an average against of I think 287, strikeout rate that's below 15%, a walk rate that's pretty good, but still nothing that I would brag about. So could be a nice spot for the Cubs here today. The problem is I think that we have some, even though the Cubs are the way better team, a little bit of a tax we're paying on them just because they are the Cubs. They haven't been all that tremendous offensively. Now, I would say it's because they've played a lot of home games with the wind blowing in. So, okay, right? Maybe that helps us out. And then you throw in the fact that St. Louis against lefties has actually been okay, even though their offense has struggled. So, sure, if you want to go crazy, I don't mind someone looking at St. Louis today just because of the price tag. I still think this is a Cubs spot all the way. McGreevy really struggles against lefties. Yikes. PCA. Kyle Tucker. You have Ian Happ, who's going to be batting from that side today. Michael Busch at the top of the lineup. These guys don't necessarily crush righties, but again, maybe they can crush him. So to me, Cubs could score some runs. I like the Cubs, their team total over, and maybe backing Matthew Boyd in the bullpen to some degree, taking a peek at St. Louis's team total under. So everything kind of revolves Cubs for me today. I probably like the money line the most because it just seems the simplest, and go out there, get 9 innings, score some runs. So the team total could look okay as well. But I think Matthew Boyd, if you take team total for the Cubs, you're eliminating a big advantage, which is Matthew Boyd on the Cubs side of things. All right, quick one here. We got Zach Gallen on the mound. If you aren't aware, he is on the DMB graveyard right now, right there. Featured headstone Zach Gallen. He's going up against Colorado. Maybe he could pitch all right, right? Like, I'm not trying to sit here and say that he's that bad that he can't pitch against them, but he has struggled. He's good against righties. There's pretty much all righties in this lineup, sure. But for me, where this price is, minus 239, I don't think so. It's Rockies, maybe an over for me here, but I didn't spend too much time on this one. But Rockies in the over, I could see them in a 5-4 win too. So yeah, for plus 215, that's all I would look at. This Rockies team, as crazy as it is, sounding the psycho alert alarm here, hasn't really been half bad compared to what you're normally expecting out of them, right? Like, they've scored some runs. Did they look good in that Toronto series? Hell no. But what about that Pittsburgh series? 17-8, 5 runs scored. Yes, that was all at home, but are we going to sit here and act like you can't score a lot of runs in Arizona too? Who knows? This is a crazy one. I get it, but I'd lean Rockies in the over. I don't think either one of those cross our way into a final play today, though. Because I like my core, yes, I'm on board with fading Zach Gallen now, even though he was one of my favorite pitchers in the league. But I still kind of like him. You know what I mean? Like, he's still got that, old relationship soft spot for me. So I don't know if we can fully fade Gallen, even against a team like this. Seattle taking on Tampa Bay. Seattle, I do think, has a little bit of an advantage here all the way around. They've also played really good baseball, 7-3 in their last 10. Tampa Bay's offense, to me, though they took 2 of 3 against the Angels, and though they scored, 5 and 7 runs, I'm still a little worrisome there. So I do lean Seattle in this one. It's going to be, a good pitching matchup, I would say, in between Luis Castillo and Drew Rasmussen. So yeah, I do still lean towards a first 3 or first 5 under, and then Fettuccine Alfredo on there. I think Hunter Fiducia, whatever the hell his name is. I do think that he is in a really rough spot in terms of the pitch mix that he'll see, as well as JP Crawford. So if you want to figure out how to get those guys in terms of unders, maybe both of them under 1.5 bases in a parlay, something like that, I could kind of get behind that. But again, trusting both of the pitchers here is realistically what I'm going to do more so. So I think a first 3 under actually could be in play. Luis Castillo isn't all that great against lefties. There are a lot of lefties in this Tampa Bay lineup. So if you like the Rays today, I would say that that's probably the argument to be made, that, Luis Castillo could get hit up and all that. But realistically speaking, I still don't think that this Rays lineup is good enough right now to go out there and do that. So first 3 or first 5 under would be something that I consider. Rasmussen on the road this season to the first 3 under hasn't been all that tremendous, but Castillo at home, a horse of a different color. 77% of his games, and I believe it is, we have it right here already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his last 8 starts at home. they've gone under in the first 3. So hopefully Castillo is kind of the driving force here of the first 3 under. That could definitely make its way into being a final play, as well as, like I mentioned, Fettuccine Alfredo and JP Crawford, some sort of a same game parlay where we parlay an alternate line under for them. All right, Padres taking on the Red Sox. Though I am a big Red Sox fan, I don't know if I have too much in this one that I'm liking either way. Walker Buehler's on the mound. That dude stinks. I've said it all along. Yeah, he's better at Fenway, but guess what, buddy? You're not at Fenway today. He's going up against Nick Pivetta, who I don't necessarily have like the... It's funny because Nick Pivetta has been really good this year. And then we took him once. I want to say it was like a couple months ago, and he just struggled. And I've kind of lost the, no pun intended, the fastball of just relying on him, even though he's been fantastic. I think he has a sub-1 ERA over his last 5 starts. So for that reason, yeah, I do lean towards the Padres. But this Red Sox team, I feel like, can hit anybody right now. Sure, they're coming off a game in which they scored 3 runs against Michael Wacha. I get it. But prior to that, 6, 8, 6, 7, 2, 13, 8, 4. Like, this team's pretty damn good, right? And you do have an environment today that I think we could see some runs scored. So over 8 is what I would look at, and the Padres. I think this could easily be a 5-3 win for the Padres too, without the fact that the Red Sox could have a good offensive day and score some runs. Do you know what I mean? So, like, even still with the Padres winning and all things going according to plan via the books, I think we could have a push at 8. So we'll see if we get there. I hate betting against my own squad, but, Pivetta is that good, and the bullpen's pretty damn good too. So like I said, I don't have too much in that one, unfortunately, because I'll be watching this. It's a Red Sox game. Dodgers taking on the Blue Jays. This should be a fun game to watch at the very least. We have Kershaw going up against Scherzer. Absolute theater there. Scherzer's starting to look okay. Kershaw has been pretty good this year as well. I do still think that for plus money, you have to take the team that I believe is better. And what an ego boost for Toronto, right? 15, 10, 20 runs scored in Colorado. I know the spot is a lot of times to fade the team that's coming out of Colorado, but they did have the day off, which is good. And like, they didn't score 6 runs, and it's like, oh, maybe they come back down to earth. If they scored half of their runs that they did, they would have had 7 or 8, 5, 10, coming back to non-high altitude. So I still think Toronto's offense looks pretty good. In terms of Kershaw against them, in the past, he's been okay. Just 36 plate appearances against this current roster. He's got a expected batting average here of 275, expected slugging 524, expected WOBA 371, and then Scherzer 194 plate appearances against this current roster, 212 batting average against, in terms of expected batting average against, an expected average against WOBA actually of 311. So I do still think it's a Blue Jays spot, but man, oh man, I'm going to give credit to an exciting game and to a bunch of guys in the lineup that could definitely make a splash here. So give me the over 8.5 in that one as well. These are really good offenses. We know that. Really good pitching. We know that too. This wouldn't surprise me if it's a 4-3 win for the Dodgers or the Blue Jays, or like a 7-6 type game too. So we'll see. I'm just excited. I think it's going to be a really fun game. All right, Giants taking on the Nats. I hate to close us out with a game that I really have no... I feel like I don't have any, eggs in the fight, dogs in the fight, whatever the hell the saying is. I'm going to lean towards the Nationals just because I think you're getting the plus money against a pitcher that, only has a little bit of experience under his belt. Now, do I like Jake Irvin? No, but Kai Wei Tang, with just the one, start here and one appearance at age, I think, what is he, 25, 26? Yeah, 2.1 whip in that game, an ERA of 13.5. Do I think that it's going to be as hard to go up against his national team as it was the Mets? No, but still, I'm not all over the Giants. So give me the Nationals. I don't mind the idea of an under because I don't like either one of these offenses right now either. Now, I will say San Francisco has been better at home and has been better against righties this season. Last 30 days, they've actually struggled at home against righties, but still, if you like the Giants, sure. But I don't think I'm going to be caught dead placing a -160 Giants play with Tang on the mound. You know what I mean? So that is what it is, guys. It's going to wrap it up for today's show. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 33. Appreciate you sticking with me for over a half hour here. Everyone enjoy their Fridays. We'll catch you in the next one, all right? Peace out.